Real women, real marriages. This is the Empowered Wife podcast. Kristina's marriage was full of drama, and then her relationship with her sister collapsed completely for 2.5 years. She was just folding laundry when a question hit her that changed everything. Today, Kristina is here to tell you exactly what that question was and what she did about it and what her marriage and her family look like now on the other side. Stay with us to the end for your Try It Tonight takeaway. A weekend away, a weekend to laugh, a weekend for self-care and self-discovery. That's what Adored Wife Weekend is, and I want you there. Join me in Anaheim, California this October 9th through the 11th for 3 days of practicing the 6 intimacy skills in person, surrounded by women who get it. There's an 80s dance party, a live man panel where you can ask real men anything, and breakthroughs you won't see coming. Women tell me it's one of the most nourishing weekends of their lives, and previous events sold out. So don't wait. AdoredWifeWeekend.com. I'll save you a seat. Kristina, welcome to the Empowered Wife podcast. I'm super excited you're here.
Hi, Laura.
Hi. So tell me, how did you know that your husband was the one? Like, what made you choose him?
Well, our story, my husband and I actually go all the way back to elementary school. We were in the same second grade class and then again in fifth grade. I have these little snapshots in my memory of summer days riding bikes with the neighborhood kids and playing outside. And he was just there, just one of the kids. Then, interestingly enough, we didn't have any classes together in middle school or high school. It's like our story had a long break until senior year. And we ended up in the same friend group. And over winter break, we planned a trip to go to the city and to go ice skating. I remember we were all on the train waiting. He was running late. Everyone's wondering if he's going to make it or not. And then at the last second, he jumps on, just makes it with a smoothie in his hand, like it's no big deal. And that little moment kind of captures a bit of him, calm under pressure, that quiet confidence, and a little mysterious. Our group spent the whole day together, ice skating, walking around the city. It was such a fun day. Then we went into a coffee shop to warm up. And at one point, he stepped away to take a phone call. The flip phone days. When I came back, I asked who called. And he said, my girlfriend. And then I said, does she know you're here with all of us? And he said, no, nonchalantly. And I felt intrigued and remembered thinking, wait, what? That moment stuck with me, not because of what it meant, but because I didn't understand and it seemed a little secretive. Our friend group hung out all the time, and I'd always ask him for rides because I love being a passenger princess, and we lived in the same neighborhood. And I got to know him more, and I started noticing things about him, like how kind he was, how thoughtful he was. He was the kind of person that would go out of his way to help anyone. If a friend needed a ride, and if he was already at the hangout, he would leave the hangout, go pick up that friend and come back. Or if it was late at night and he was already at home, he would leave his house and he'd be the guy that showed up. I remember one time even a friend lost their keys outside, and without hesitation, he went outside in the dark and helped the friend find them. He was just, there was something about him. He wasn't loud. He wasn't showy. He was just steady and dependable. I felt he seemed good. And that stayed with me too. Spring break came and my 18th birthday. By that time, he didn't have a girlfriend anymore. At my party, we went for a walk and we talked and talked and talked. And it felt so easy and it felt fun and a little flirty. Hours went by and we were sitting by the fire. And I remember thinking, he's going to kiss me. He didn't. Later, he told me he wanted to, but that's just so him. Caring, intentional, patient, not impulsive. He wasn't like any other guy or any other guy that I dated. Not long after that, He asked me to be his girlfriend and asked me to senior prom. I said yes, and that was the official beginning of us. I think what made us fall in love was just our foundation of friendship. We genuinely liked being around each other, and we were total opposites, like magnets. I was drawn to him, his independence, his quiet confidence, his whole way of being. That still gets me to this day. Yeah, we'd go on dates and we'd drive around listening to music with nowhere to go and just talk and talk and talk. It was before like unlimited texting and phone, minutes. And we'd always go over our phone bills. It got so bad that we even got walkie-talkies that reached the 2 blocks that we were apart. So yeah. Yeah.
Cute. Oh my gosh. So he's a steady Eddie and really generous and so kind. It sounds like, and
Yeah.
confident. And those things
Yeah. Yeah.
just kind of
Yeah.
drew you to him. So, and you're high
Mhm.
school sweethearts, like you were
Mm.
very young, and
Mhm.
and then you guys you got married after that at some point.
Well, yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's see. After, yeah, that girlfriend from winter break, she actually would show up. And unknowingly, I kind of made her like an OW. Our first of many breakups, I was driving. I remember I was driving to pick up my sister from volleyball practice, and I drove right past him meeting up with his ex girlfriend. And he was giving back a ring that he had gotten resized for her when they dated. Um, and I remember calling him with all my leading questions, and yeah, and I just felt like I couldn't trust him then. And his secretive ways from when we went ice skating over winter break came up, and that's when I started to keep score. So we were on again, off again. We were just so young. We really were just kids still needing to grow up. We eventually graduated, yeah, from high school. I lived out of state for a little bit. We had a long distance relationship, and then he asked me to marry him when we were 21. I said yes, and I moved back to our hometown. And we planned and had a wedding in 6 months. Looking back, yeah, was young love, but we just had a connection and we just chose each other again and again.
Wow. It sounds sweet. It sounds like there was, so there was some breakups and drama, which, yeah, I think is pretty normal at that age too, right? Like, but it kind of planted this seed of distrust and you did drive past him, seeing him with his ex while you didn't think he would be seeing her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds kind of scary. I get it. So anyway, so young love, you have this great wedding that you planned in 6 months, and yeah, how did everything go?
Yeah. I think the pressures and the responsibilities of life, came, but then conflict came. And in those moments, all the like unprocessed and unresolved pieces of my childhood would rise to the surface when we would fight. And I would get anxious and controlling. I operated from fear, really. I expected him to say all the right things, the things that would make me feel better, but he didn't know how to. And even when I told him exactly what I needed to hear, he would say them, and it still wasn't right. It wasn't how I wanted him to say it. And then I'd be upset that he couldn't read my mind or come up with how to take care of me on his own. And I really just had Disney movies and rom-com movies as my, example of relationships.
What kinds of
Um,
things were you telling him to say to you?
yeah, I would just want all the sweet nothings, right? Like how I'm the girl that he wants forever and ever. And let's not forget ever, like you say. Yeah. And then I just found myself thinking things like, did I marry the wrong person? Were we too young? Is this what our marriage is going to always be like and always feel like? We were so different. It felt like we wanted different things.
Mm.
And when we would fight, I would spiral. And it was hard for me to separate what was real from the stories I was telling myself. Yeah, we worked opposite schedules during the week for work, and I found myself newly married and eating dinner all by myself. I wanted to feel connected every day, and I was desperate for it. I would like make him tell me when he was leaving the house and then text me again when he got to his destination, just to make sure that I knew where he was going or what he was doing and that he was safe. And if he didn't, it felt huge. In my mind, it felt like he didn't care. I wasn't important, and it would turn into a fight. And then that first breakup, unfortunately, I let, taint our marriage. I never forgave him really, and I let him remember it. And I would bring it up in fights. I couldn't let it go for 15 years. And I knew how to hurt with my words in fights. I would say things like, "I deserve better. You work too much. I'm so unhappy." And truth is, I didn't mean those things. Maybe meant them in the moment of pain, but I wanted to hurt him. I wanted to hurt him because I was hurting. I wanted him to feel how I felt when I, told myself and convinced myself that he didn't care. So he was quiet. He wouldn't fight back. So then I raged, and he would, shut down even more. And that made me push even harder. So I gave ultimatums. I threatened divorce as a way to control and to change him. And I knew that I crossed the line every time. And sometimes I wanted to see how far I could go with it. In the heat of a fight one time, I suggested that we go to the courthouse and get a divorce right then and there, right before he went into work. And we did. We drove there and we walked in and we told them why we were there. And they told us that we were in the wrong building and that we had to go down the road. Yeah. I was fighting to be right and have connection, but every fight carried the past and just gave me the opposite of what I wanted. And we would eventually make up, but with that came the emotional hangover. We had no emotional safety, and I lived on the fence. And the pain that I felt, the pain that I caused him, that needless emotional turmoil, because I knew deep down, that's not who I wanted to be.
Oh, it sounds painful. It sounds lonely and so distressing, right? To this moment where you're walking into this courthouse saying, "Let's get a divorce," and you're both there, like, "Yeah, let's do it." And thankfully, you're in the wrong building, which, but it was like, it sounds. I could really hear how desperate you felt to have things change. Like, this is like, I'm doing this because I want to. Something's got to give. We can't go on like this. Sounds really, really hard, and you're so accountable in your telling of it. Like, you own every little piece of like how you were raging and how you were wanting to inflict hurt on him, which is kind of a big thing to admit because hurt people hurt. That's just human. But for you to come on this podcast and say that's what I was doing, I was trying to hurt him. It just seems a really courageous and tender thing to acknowledge to us.
Thank you.
And you and this and all the while you're doing the best you can. Like, you don't know what else to do to get out of this pain that you're feeling. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. And then we went through something incredibly painful when we wanted to start a family. I miscarried our first pregnancy. And so that loss just deepened everything. More fear, more anxiety, more need to control. And then the night before finding out I was pregnant again, I opened my MacBook while he was at work and saw Facebook messages between him and an attractive woman coworker. he must have forgotten to close out of them. And I was shocked to see the emotion and the flirting between them. He was being like how he was with me, but with her. I was heartbroken and devastated. And it added to my list of wrongs. And I brought that up in every fight, and I never let us forget it. Yeah, and then my husband told me that he didn't love me. He cared for me, but he wasn't in love with me. And those words just ate me alive. I remember feeling so out of control in my mind. I was a wreck. That pregnancy was so hard between the hormones, trying to keep this baby. I was emotional, and our families were so worried. I would have panic attacks, and I would have State of the Unions. I didn't know that I was the gatekeeper of our relationship, like you say. And I would constantly ask him what he wanted. What were we doing? Yeah, our first son was finally born, my rainbow baby, and he was healthy and happy, praise God. And our little family drew my husband back. He apologized and wanted our family. He told me that love is a choice, and he was going to choose us. We were still magnetized to each other, and we did the best that we could to move forward. From that. And then beautiful years followed after that. I had another son. But all my time and all my energy and my focus went, to my dream of being a stay-at-home mom, raising and caring for our boys, keeping our home, and homeschooling. And when I was depleted and exhausted, I can see now I would continue to tell myself, stories that he cares more about work than us. He didn't love me. I'd question if there was another woman. I'd tell him that he'd rather be at work with the other women there than at home with his family. And my tone when I'd speak to him was just disrespectful and undignified. The stories, they just felt so real. We constantly tried to fix things, try to analyze all the things that were wrong. We'd never go to bed angry because that's what, everyone tells you to have a happy marriage. And I just truly believed that if he would just change, I could be happy. I couldn't see my part yet. And I had similar patterns in some of my other relationships, like with my sister. I can really see now that I had a lot of expectations. And during COVID, there was a breakdown with my parents and my sister and her family because of our differences of opinions of what was going on in the world. And a lot of things were said. I criticized, I argued, I defended. I thought I was right. And I said things, way too many things. I let my sister have it in a family group chat text. And then the next day I apologized, and my sister didn't forgive me like my husband had forgiven me. She told me that I would never have a relationship with my nephew who was just born, that she no longer wanted a relationship with me. And it felt like she didn't even think of my boys. She was more than, my sister. She was like a second mom to them. And so it was just really heartbreaking, and I couldn't understand it. And I would replay it over and over, trying to make sense of it all, trying to make, understand how could my own blood do something like this to me, to my innocent sons, to our parents as grandparents. And that went on for 2.5 years, just pain, anger, confusion, anxiety, tension, and silence at every holiday and family gathering. I was emotionally drained.
Oh gosh, that sounds heartbreaking because you apologized. So it seems like all she has to do is forgive you. You were
Mhm.
accountable. It sounds really, really stressful
Mhm.
with your sister.
Mhm.
So that it sounds like that kind of took precedent over some of the conflict you're having in your marriage. Fair to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that became the headline breakdown.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what happened?
So then one Saturday, I was folding laundry and watching a YouTube video, and the woman in the video mentions the book, The Empowered Wife. I downloaded it that day, and I read the entire book in one weekend. And for the first time, I could see. I could see my patterns. I could see the fear that was underneath everything. And I had this moment of realization. What if it's me? And that thought changed everything. Not because my circumstances had changed, not because my husband had changed. Nothing around me changed, but everything inside of me changed. And it was for the first time I actually looked at myself, looked at my side of the street, as you say. I didn't need anyone else to change for me to feel safe or to feel at peace. And as a Christian, I truly believe that God used your book to meet me right where I was and to answer all my prayers. Reading it really felt like an epiphany, like a moment of true surrender. And like I didn't need to wear the armor that I had put on in my childhood to protect myself. I could finally lay it all down and leave it there.
Wow.
I thought I had read all that was out there. Laura, your books and the six intimacy skills have been the tools to really give me a way to apply practically my faith, in God, and not perfectly, but in ways that really, truly, like who I wanted to be and how I wanted to show up, and like my best possible self. And so I started to feel that freedom and heal. And now I know how to take responsibility and accountability for me and for my heart.
Amazing story. Like that's a big transformation you had right there in that moment. And I mean, I remember that moment being pretty painful for me too. Like kind of an awful moment, kind of a wonderful moment, but also a little bit um, horrifying, I guess I would say. And you sound like you're on the other side of it. You're on the other side of like that realization. But anyway, it sounds extraordinary. It sounds like you were just incredibly ready to be super accountable, like you certainly are now. So what did you start to do differently than what you had been doing?
Well, I started with that first invitation, that first skill of self care. I'm an order girl, so I went in order. But somewhere between the roles of wife and mom and homeschooler, I had gotten lost and I didn't know I had my own paper. It's like I abandoned myself when I got married. I thought, my husband and I were supposed to be one, and I tried to do and be everything for everyone else. And I really thought my worth came from like being productive. And I could really relate to what you say, and things will get as good as you can stand, like feeling some perverse pleasure in not indulging myself in things that I loved because I felt more virtuous and that I wasn't doing anything frivolous. My pride came with a big cost. And self care. So now I spend time doing things that make me happy. For me, like taking care of myself is really that like temple stewardship to faithfully doing kingdom work. And do Bible study, pray, have solitude. I get outside and go on adventures. I watercolor. I'll watch a drama-filled show or movie because I've learned that I have a minimum drama requirement since I'm no longer trying to stir things up within my relationships or my life. I go on walks. I get on daily group coaching calls. I get a manicure and a pedicure and a massage every month. And I love to journal. Before the skills, I would track every penny in our budget. But I have since relinquished control of all of the finances after 15 years, and I've never felt more like a queen or taken care of. I completed your Empowered Wife workbook and I still wanted to keep going. So I do, a journal entry page that has gratitudes and my self cares. And I, look out for wins. And that's what I track now. It's my paper, so to say.
I love this. That is so inspiring. And I rarely hear someone talking about their minimum trauma requirement, but you do. And I love this because you painted such a vivid picture of how much drama there was in your family. And I just kind of want to linger on this point for a second because I just remember that too. Like I had a lot of drama and it was mostly needless emotional turmoil created, but there was something to it that I was kind of drawn to. I was drawn to drama because I'm a mere mortal woman, and you have found other ways to fill your need for drama, like a show, like a high drama show, or even sometimes like I know group coaching calls can feel like drama. So anyway, it's just a brilliant thing that you've identified about the care and feeding of Kristina. It sounds like.
hmm hmm
I love it. And it sounds like you're doing an amazing job. That is an incredible self-care list too. I'm really impressed with that self-care list. So,
Thank you.
and to go from not even like being able to find your paper to like putting all these things on your, like filling it out and really tracking instead of tracking the money to every penny, you're now tracking like your wins and your gratitude and your self-care. Is a
hmm
big change. Like, was it hard to get yourself to like your brain was probably thinking about what about all those pennies I was tracking before? And now I'm
Mm,
doing this. Like, how did you get yourself to do all that?
yeah, Laura, I just feel like I have been waiting. I've been waiting for this work. It's like all those things had to happen, the breakdowns, even the situation with my sister. Um, and the skills just, came to me at the right time. And I was ready to do something new that, yeah.
You were ready. Yeah, it sure sounds like it. I don't doubt it. Well, what else did you start doing differently than you'd been doing things before, besides all this incredible self-care?
Yeah. Um, I know. I just, by learning and practicing all of the skills, I just really feel like God's been renewing my mind and transforming my heart, like it says, in Romans 12:2 in the Bible. And when I practice the skills, I just have this surrender of control and fear and my old ways. And I'm able to receive, like you say, and receive trust and faith and peace. Like the tools have really been instruments to align my thoughts and my responses in every situation and every relationship.
So, like you mentioned in your story early on, like you really held on to him saying, "Oh, she doesn't know I'm here with the group," or like the Facebook flirtations that you saw, like those were brought up again and again and again. And,
Mhm.
um, and now but you're talking about, it sounds like something was lifted, like this need to control. So like, I mean, what happened to those? Those were like old hurts. What happened to
I
those?
mean, I really think the combination of the self care and really learning about what respect is, what it really is, accepting, believing in the best. And I thought I knew what respect was. I thought it was leaving a plate for him in the microwave, when he missed dinner. Um, yeah. And I think that self care piece, and then along with all the other skills, being able to relinquish control of those stories that didn't serve me anymore.
Yeah, I love that. So what does respect look like? How do you respect your husband now?
Yeah. In marriage now. So it's funny, I really had to relinquish control and receive graciously us moving our podcast a week later. We were going to record last week. And so I've been really trying to receive graciously. And my birthday was last week. And My husband, I had asked him to take the day off because I was going to do really fun things, for my birthday. And it was on a Thursday and he had to work. So he couldn't take the day off. And I just was able to experiment with that respect skill and trust that he is the expert of his work life. Even just reaching for that skill of gratitude that he works and provides so that I can make my birthday paper all magical. And then even just the gratitude, the SFP, that he would be there, if he could. Um, the whole day went by. My boys and I had a great day. And my husband, I saw that he was still at work at 6:30, and something like that before the skills would have just ruined my day or would have been a fight. But I just trusted that he, was working and would get home when he did and come home to us. So it just looks like not asking leading questions, really trusting and believing in the best. Um, and yeah, and then there's just been so much fruit from that. He came home and he made this really nice surf and turf dinner, and the doorbell rang, and there were 2 dozen like flowers, roses, pink and red roses, and my boys were there too, and he just surprised me with them, and we were able to say, like, this was 21 years ago, like, is where it all started on my birthday, during spring break is when, all of this started with us. So um yeah, that's what respect looks like. I just really trust. I just really trust.
Wow. So you could have, in the old days, it sounds like there would have been a whole story of like, he doesn't care, he doesn't love me, he's not making my birthday special. And he's not only working on your big day, he's working late on your big day, which is like further proof. And that thought crossed your mind, but you didn't give it any
Mhm.
oxygen. You didn't like
No.
let it fester. And then you got your surf and turf dinner and 2 dozen roses like surprising you at the door. And so
Mhm.
it sounds like you feel loved and celebrated.
I do. Yeah. There's so much love and connection with that restoring of respect.
Wow. And uh was it hard to do to restore respect?
Yeah. I mean, it was because I have another story, Laura. Right after I read your book, um, a month after reading the Empowered Wife book, I had received a random text message from a phone number saying that I could try to be a perfect wife, all that I wanted, but that my husband would always think of her. Um, and that after I got that message, I joined RHW, I joined the community, and I made the choice to trust my husband and respect my husband when he said that he didn't know who that message was from and that it wasn't true. I call them bait text messages. And for a year, I received these bait text messages saying that, I wasn't a good wife and that my husband was being unfaithful, like using our names, even sending messages to my sister, who I was still in the middle of a breakdown with, text messages.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and they were all a lie. The message did eventually stop. And to this day, we've never found out who sent those messages. Um, but yeah, just thank God for the skills because I don't even know, yeah, where we would be today. So yeah, respect is just really looks like trusting and restoring and making that choice. That choice.
Kristina, that is an extraordinary respect story. That's incredible. How awful to be harassed like that. And yeah, like someone was trying to hurt your marriage and
Hmm.
you didn't fall for it. You were like, I'm not, I know who my husband is and this is not who he is. That's what I hear. And
Hmm.
you made the
Hmm.
choice every day to swim past that bait, not take that bait. So did it cause any arguments or breakdowns or?
I mean, I think when I would initially get the messages, it would, I would have a flood of emotion. But thanks to the skills and being able to drop and give 10 and look for the evidence, our marriage has been the best it's ever been in the last 17 years. And so I have, my dream marriage now. And I just know that we can get through anything when I reach for, the grace of God and when I reach for these skills.
Amazing, Kristina. Such an inspiring story. And so, okay, when you say, so you have the best marriage it's ever been in 17 years, like, tell me a little more about what it's like. I mean, I got the roses and I mean, you had a great birthday and stuff. I totally get that. But
Mhm.
like he had at one time had said, I don't love you. I know that was long ago and he recommitted, but
Uh-huh.
I mean, what's it like now?
Yeah, it's just the daily, like last week, it was a long day at work and he got home really late and checked my car and saw that it was low on gas and asked me to go on a joyride and to go get gas and we did and it was like high school. It was like the high school days, just going on a joyride, talking. He even just wanted to still stay out and was like, let's stop at the store and get your favorite candy. And it's just little simple things like that. And really just, being able to receive my husband's love now, that receiving graciously skill, his love that was there all along. He's an actions guy, and I never saw it before. My complaints that were right, that he never said the words I wanted to hear. And now I know how to look for heart messages. You taught me how to look for heart messages, and it's in the way that he looks at me. It's in the way that he comes in for a kiss or whisks me off to the bedroom. The everyday, sweet things. He speaks love in action. And we have so much intimacy and connection. He's an amazing provider all of these years. And it's interesting. I think about it and it's like he had the skills all along. He always respected me and always, believed the best in me, really almost like believing in me before I believed in myself. So now we marry each other, we're on the same team, and we have new dances. And I focus on, like I said, the stories that serve my marriage and all my relationships with the skills.
Wow. So, has your husband ever said anything about this? Is an incredible transformation, Kristina. Like, and the way you're showing up now, um, it's and it sounds like how's the fight? There used to be pretty big knockdown, drag out fights. It sounds like
Hmm.
high drama,
Hmm.
just like at my house. And
Hmm.
I mean, do those still happen at your house?
No, they don't
Oh,
happen. We don't have State of the Unions. I honestly can't even remember the last time we got into a fight. I mean, we have, disagreements, but I'm able to use the skills and but we've not had a State of the Union. It's like I got off the fence when I found your book and stayed off the fence. I'm no longer, yeah, in that place. And as far as words wise, he has not said anything along those lines, but I've been able to, I've expressed the desire to become a Laura Doyle certified coach. And so that has been my acknowledgement, I think, for it. Because that was a big receiving graciously. I've been a stay at home mom for 15 years. And so that felt like a big receiving. And so that I think is the acknowledgement, the heart message of that. And then, for our anniversary last year, he got me a new MacBook and just little things I think to support me, to show my support, to show his support for me, this
oh,
work.
that's awesome. Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a huge thing to support you and your desire to become a relationship coach. It's a big investment. and you were obviously not paying for it yourself. So, yeah, I love the story of you receiving that from him. Well, and your marriage sounds, yeah, absolutely beautiful. It sounds wonderful.
Thank you. Thank
What
you.
what
Yeah.
ab
And
what about this oh, go ahead, sorry.
and I just, because I feel like the breakdown with my sister, I just
Yeah.
wanted to share how I've been able
I was gonna
to.
say, what happened to your sister with that? Tell me.
Yeah, so the relationship with my sister now, I realize that I couldn't fix the relationship, but I could change how I showed up. So I really reached for that gratitude skill and keeping my focus, and having those sister fulfilling prophecies. And now I have hope where I once had resentment. Little miracles are coming our way. Like my son's birthday party last month, my sister and I were on the same team playing fishbowl and laughing together and working together. My nephew FaceTimed me last week and 2 days in a row. And it's not like he was at my parents' house getting babysat by them. He was at home with my sister and brother in law in the background and just got to have this sweet, conversation with my nephew. And we have cousin sleepovers with my boys and her boys. And yeah, just again with the like relinquishing control. What could I receive? My nephew's called the other day on Monday and asked to go to lunch and visit a new park. And it was the first time in 6 years that just my sister and I and our boys went somewhere and had this adventure. So, yeah.
Wow, that sounds like forgiveness. Yeah.
Mhm.
It must have been rough because, it brings tears to my eyes, Christina, 'cause, once you've apologized, I feel like in some ways you could say, "What more could I do? It's not on me." Like, she's the one
Mhm.
that has the key in this situation, but
Mhm.
not what you're describing. You're saying
Mhm.
you showed up differently. You were choosing gratitude and sister fulfilling prophecies, and now you're experiencing this closeness. This was the big threat that you weren't
Yeah.
going to have a relationship with this nephew.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
and now here it is. Here it is, and getting to laugh together. Yeah, while you're playing a game with her. So there's that. Uh, yeah, you've got your sister back. That's what I hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh, that must feel so good. You must feel so proud. What an accomplishment, right? You healed your family. Yeah, amazing, amazing. Great job. This is tremendous humility that you're
Mm,
describing, right? I see
thank
that.
you.
I see that about you. It's just very, it's really endearing, really endearing.
Thank you. Thank you.
What, what do you think? How does this impact your kids that you've done all this? Your boys.
Yeah. Well, I have a tween and teen, so I have these young men, and I get to be a skilled mom and a respectful mom. And it's been such a gift when I was all over their papers, wanting them to be just like me. I get to just hold the space and show up, and they get to rise on their own journeys. So I think, yeah, there's so much emotional safety with each of my sons in our relationships and in our family.
So it sounds like you have better connection with your boys. And what do you think if you could give somebody a tip who is where you were? Maybe
Mhm.
there's like a lot of drama. There's a lot of she's feeling hurt. There's her husband won't say those words. And she saw a Facebook flirtation go by. And she wants what you have now, where she gets 2 dozen roses and gets taken on a joyride to go get her favorite candy, like a teenager. Feels like
Mhm.
a teenager again. What's your best tip for her? What should she do?
Yeah, I would tell her that it's going to be okay and to read all of your books and to join the community. It's such a safe space and place. And that, yeah, she can turn things around in her life. That's what I tell her. She can, yeah, from, put the armor down and stop protecting herself and receive the good that's there and yeah, all the blessings that are on the way.
As you were just saying that, I think that sounds great. And you mentioned it early on about sort of letting down that armor that you had developed from your childhood, and
Mhm.
how you just totally started showing up differently. But I think what I hear too in that is like I don't know, better connection with Christina, or like more softness, that your
Yeah.
relationship with yourself is
Mhm.
different than it was. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I, entered the last years of my 30s last week, and I've never felt so confident and secure in my skin because I feel like I've gotten in tune and grounded and connected with these tools and the skills to just, yeah, feel, um, feel in this place. Yeah.
Well, I love that. I love hearing that. And it sounds like you had been seeking that. You've been seeking that. You kind of mentioned I'd read all the books. I'd read all the books, and this is this is where you found it. It was like your marriage was the catalyst for you to um,
Mhm.
have some healing with
Mhm.
Christina. It sounds like.
Mhm.
Is that
Yeah.
fair to say?
Yeah. Yeah. Laura, your skills, the community, this work that you've created and given, yeah, they've been woven into my days and my life. And I use, like I said, the skills with everyone and every situation. And I have so much gratitude and joy for my transformation and what I'm yet to receive in this life and my big, beautiful story of mine. I ran away from my stories for so long, and never did I think that I would be sharing my stories and paying it forward and healing um, through them as as a coach. And yeah, I'd love to just give hope for what's possible.
Wow, I love it. It is such a courageous thing to do, to come on and share these stories that are so personal and so intimate. So I absolutely love that. So very inspiring to hear about how good you
Thank
feel
you,
in your
Laura.
skin, how confident too. What would you say to Christina if you could go back in time and just tell her what you know now?
Yeah, I would tell her to trust. Everything happens at the right time. I really do feel so much peace and gratitude that all those things had to happen for me to feel ready to receive and really make that choice to take care of myself and receive these skills.
Oh, so you're grateful, is that right? For some of those very painful experiences, even.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like almost such a time as this, like it had to happen so that I could get to here.
And you're so happy to be where you are. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. Um, it's very moving. You are incredibly skilled. Like, I hear everything you say. It just sounds so skilly. I don't know what the word is. Skillsy, I guess. And even in your application to be a guest on the podcast, it was just extraordinarily skilled. Everything that you wrote was like, I just hear you attending to Christina's paper so much. But that's not the whole story, right? There's also this family that has been healed, this marriage that is
Mhm.
romantic and sweet, like teenagers now. And I just want
Mhm.
to congratulate you on this incredible accomplishment by giving you my Best Wife Award, Christina.
Thank you, Laura.
Well
Thank you
done.
so much.
Well done.
Thank you
It's
so much.
such a big accomplishment, and such a rare accomplishment. And
Mhm.
you've done it. And I know how much courage it takes. And determination. And I just see it all over you, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. And thank you for coming on and just being so authentic with us, telling us the real story. It's I'm unspeakably grateful for this generous gift.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. Great job. All right, the Try It Tonight takeaway is gratitude. And you already know what gratitude is. You know what that means. Of course, you do. But I'm going to invite you to experiment with a particular kind of gratitude that's not always so easy to come by. Okay, remember when Kristina really wanted her husband to take the day off for her birthday so they could have fun together? But he not only went to work, he worked late. Yeah, well, normally that would have ruined her birthday and probably even led to a fight. But instead, Kristina decided to be grateful that he was working. She said to herself, my husband is working hard and providing for me so that I can have a magical birthday. So instead of fretting all day, she had a great day with her sons. And when he finally came home, did you hear what happened? He made her a delicious surf and turf dinner. And then the doorbell rang and there were 24 pink and red roses for her. And then they even shared with their boys how their love story began 21 years earlier on her birthday. What a turnaround. So if you're willing to give this a try, what's a recurring situation in your home that you normally end up fighting about? What can you find to be grateful for in that very situation? And what changes when you choose to be grateful instead of upset? If you want to get some inspiration and follow along as we try this tonight, come join my coaches and me and a whole community of women at adoredwife.com. That's where you'll get the support to experiment and change things up even when it's hard. It might feel like a stretch, but if you're willing to experiment just a little, then you can try it tonight. All right. Are you going to try this with me? Who's in? Are you going to do this? All right. Then go, go, go.